Ready, set, go.
Welcome back to Tiny Bunny. This is a game that I played through the first chapter of, the prologue of, right around when I first, pretty early in my streaming career. It's just a beautiful, visual horror novel with some choices that you can make. And we're gonna be playing through the second part. So, yeah, welcome. Hang on. Okay, new school, new teachers, and most importantly, new classmates who I always have trouble connecting with. Like most other kids with glasses, probably. I forced myself to get out of my warm bed. Dad would usually drive me to my old school, but this morning the bedroom of my parents was silent. Did they sleep in? Maybe it was a good thing. I didn't want to get the daddy's boy reputation from day one. My parents were probably still tucked in, dreaming about the good old days when everything was so simple and easy. Sweet dreams, even if far removed from reality. I silently sneaked out to the first floor so I wouldn't wake up anybody, especially the peacefully sleeping Olya. I did my best to step on the middle of every floorboard. I used to play like this even in our old apartment. If my soles touched the space between floorboards, it counted as stepping into lava. The floor is, in fact, lava. The clock was spurring me on with its hands. I need to hurry. I need to hurry. Faster! Faster! I was too fast, so I needed to circle the hallway once again. Boiling lava was bursting out of the cracks between floorboards. I needed to watch my step, to survive at any cost. Hippity-hop, like a frog jumping on molehills, like a fearful bunny in a grove full of wolves. Perhaps a tiny bunny? Maybe? Perhaps? I made a sandwich in the kitchen, shoved it down my throat. I just unhinged my jaw and just threw the whole thing down in one gulp and drank it down with cold tea. My appetite was as good as of someone being led up the scaffold toward a guillotine. I lowered my gaze and saw that one of my feet was standing on two floorboards at the same time. Burnt to a crisp, huh? I moved my foot. Disgusting little snakes writhed in my belly, the fear of getting hit and being called nasty names. The clock clicked. The clock clicked? Do clocks not tick in this? Is that a North American thing that clocks ticks? Clocks tick and not click? Interesting. I need to go. It was dark outside, fitting for an early winter morning. This darkness never fully left the houses around here. I took my time tying my shoes, buttoning up the puffy down jacket, trying to delay my unpleasant exit into the semi-dark, into the unnerving unknown. I rubbed my glasses for good luck, though I couldn't remember a single time these thick pieces of glass brought me any good fortune. Ooh, did that door open by itself? No, that was me. Okay, that would have been weird. The sky was akin to a giant bruise. I don't know if I see that. I'm not sure if I understand the likeness, but I'll go with you on this. On the east side of it, a black cloud was swelling up. Ew. That's disgusting. It licked up stars from the sky and extinguished the rising sun. Darkness was plastered all over the treetops. The cautious cries of birds got tangled up in the thicket. I locked the front door with a long key that I wore around my neck. My parents made me wear this noose, afraid that I, being a total klutz that I am, could lose the key otherwise. The wind whizzed on the other side of the gate, and it invited me into my new life toward dubious adventures. I'm down for some dubious adventures. I don't know about y'all, but dubious adventures are some of my favorites. And tagged alone like an old buddy, pushing me in the back. That shouldn't be a D there, but we'll allow it. Wide shadows that pines threw out covered a third of the clearings. Upon reaching the edge of the forest, I hid my nose in the coat's collar. Yeah, that's what you do when it's cold. I was squeezing through the thin fire break, my hair ruffled up and my back hunched over. Tall trees stood on both sides of the tiny trail. The snowy blanket rustled under my feet, and the canopy of intertwined branches above my head cut me off from the already sparse starlight. The night had no plans of moving away from the forest. In this darkness, trees reminded me of shaggy old women that smelled of burial earth. Don't like that. Their trunks turned into cracked, wrinkled faces with holes in the middle as their mouths. If I lost focus even for a moment, mold-covered witches would drag me into the forest's depths. That's why I gotta stay focused, man. Gotta outsmart those mold witches. They'll get you. They'll get you, just like this headphone cord is getting my sleeve. It just snags on. Then my parents would be walking around these parts, screaming my name. But the dead can't answer the living. Oh, hi, Granny. Or can they? Well, now that you've reminded me of my granny that said some foreboding things, which you can remember if you look back at the earlier parts of this series. Hi. Oh, yes, all of that. A sense of panic was growing in my chest. I was fine with Dad carrying me into the school in his hands by now, if it saved me from watching the darkness rise up in the ravines like black dough. It felt like someone jumped into the bushes behind me, so I turned around. As soon as I started walking faster, I heard the snow squeak behind me. The forest took a deep breath with its giant lungs. The windfall cracked. The wind and the birds were left behind in the field. Now I could only hear the forest creak. I walked, listening closely, and the unseen presence grew stronger. As if someone was following me, trying to match the pace of my footsteps. I turned my head so fast it made my neck crunch. Is there someone there? Friend or foe? A tiny trail behind me disappeared into the darkness. Tree branches overlapped, forming a natural tunnel. Who's there? The question escaped my lips and dissolved into the unending creaking sound of the wooden idols, the pines around me. Why did I think going through the forest alone was a good idea? I'm either going mad, or someone had intentionally lured me away from home. Distant lights granted me a smidgen of hope. A country road. Take me home, to a place where I belong. I ran there as fast as I could, as if afraid that the trail will shrink. Clawed hands will grip me by the shoulders, turn me around, and make me look at the faces of hungry forest denizens. In the end, nothing stopped me. I almost flew to the decrepit wooden bridge, disbelieving my luck. Sometimes words are just difficult, man. This ain't necessarily audio theater, so I'm just gonna acknowledge my mistakes here. The bridge's supports bathed in a spring, tarry and ice cold. I put my hands on my knees and looked up at the forest, then snorted, trying to calm my breathing. The thicket was pretending to be asleep. It looked peaceful, lifeless. The remaining part of my commute lied through a snow. Hang on. The remaining part of my commute lied through a snow-laden road, illuminated by sparse lamplights. That sounds quite nice. That actually sounds quite pleasant. I like me a nice winter path every now and then. Don't mind it. I chased away bad thoughts and ran as fast as I could, from one circle of light to another, seeking protection from electric lamps. Just like in that game, where you need to be the first to proclaim, "I'm protected." Let's check the glossary about this game here. What is this game? Oh, tag, a kid's game where one player needs to tag other players by touching them with their hand, making them it. In certain zones, normally called the ghoul, players can stay safe from tag. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that was a thing that existed. Okay. Good to know, I guess. Glad this got this glossary for all the little things that I might not get. But I get the whole thing of tag, but maybe not the lampposts. It's just in this case that protection was flimsy at best, with darkness writhing outside its bounds. Then I noticed something remarkably eerie. Hello? Hello? Is it a little pupper friend? Is this just a random furry child that is waiting for their bus? In a place where the light from an inclined lamp couldn't reach, a hairy, crooked shadow came alive with a guttural roar. Hello? Can I help you? It almost felt like its features deterred light. Its unnatural pose instilled fear. And it sounds like it's eating something, which I don't much appreciate. I don't like the sounds. My eyes almost popped out of their sockets as I just stood there blinking, trying to chase away that illusion. Hello? But the shadow didn't disappear, and even got closer. That's a very nice coat you have there. It seems a little ironic that it's a fur coat, considering you may or may not be human. My insides were gripped by horror. I stepped back and almost fell into a snow pile. The black silhouette, on the other hand, straightened up and addressed me in a sweet voice. Sneaking around? Hang on. Sneaking around, huh? Trying to steal my soul? Words got stuck in my throat. Who could be talking in such a silky voice here, between the forest and the dormant village? Will you say something, dummy? A cat got your tongue. Alright, I'll bite off your nose, then. That'll teach you not to put it in places it doesn't belong. A girl stood before me, judging from the voice and the silhouette. Oh, well, alright. Okay, we can adjust that choice as we go. But I couldn't even reprimand myself for getting scared by a girl. Not that you would need to, before noticing a gaping mouth under her hood with something dangerously shiny inside. I was stunned. Yeah, we covered that. We covered the fact that you were stunned. Oh, it's a mask. From the cavity of her hood, a frighteningly real fox face was staring straight at me. Are we sure that's a real fox face? I don't see any eyes. It's just her jaws weren't moving and her eyes weren't blinking. Yeah, because it's a mask. Because it's a mask, my dude. A mask. Hey, there we go. Took a second to figure it out, but yeah. It's just a girl with a fox mask on, as one does, as one will encounter every now and then. At least I wanted to think that. After a surprise like that, a nervous smile involuntarily crept onto my face. I was just going to school, and then you. What about me? Never seen a fox feed a dog. What are you? Are you calling me the dog? Is that what you're trying? What exactly? What's the dynamic going on here? What's the relationship here? Oh, that's the dog. Oh my gosh. And indeed, there was a small dog circling the girl's legs. One of the strays that were chasing me yesterday, probably. Possibly. Hard to say at this point. Sorry, I didn't mean to. After hearing my voice, the dog whimpered, lowered its ears, sniffed me out, and then started wagging its tail. Oh, what a good boy. I guess I still smelled the bologna that I ate for Christmas. Or, not Christmas, breakfast. What was that mistake? Maybe it's the holidays, I guess. So I got my mind's in a festive place. I was shifting my gaze back and forth from the dog to the girl. She didn't seem scary anymore, just weird. So you didn't mean to, huh? What's your name? I'm Anton. And you? And I'm not. She's weird. Definitely has a couple loose screws. She has a nice voice. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. I'm trying my best. My astonishment has turned into a mix of happiness and relief. This girl I didn't know was definitely human, if a bit eccentric, but sometimes I would say you gotta be a little eccentric to make it as a human. I was also a bit angry at myself. This foxy girl, if we're gonna put it that way, was walking through the darkness without problem, and I shuddered from every little sound. Yeah, we've been seeing weird wolf men running around, I guess. I could just walk away, but this girl had piqued my interest. The next time a police officer asks me about my friends at the new place, I'll tell him that I befriended a talking fox, and we'll see what officer has to say about that. Do you live around here? In the village? The fox giggled and purred. Both at the same time? Or in sequence? She spun around so hard the hem of her coat lifted up. No, dummy. Foxes don't live in villages. So you live in the forest then? Have you been living under a rock? It's obvious that foxes can't survive anywhere near humans, as long as they're foxes. Her jokes were also weird, just like her carnival mask. Paper mache with fur glued onto it. It looks good for paper mache. She did a great job. A dog reminded us of its existence with a loud bark. Good barking, sir. Well barked. I unfastened my backpack. Dad would sometimes throw food in there without my knowledge. Cookies, apples, or even my favorite crab sticks. Really? Crab sticks? Is your favorite? This kid is weird. But good on Dad for just sneaking me snacks. That's a nice move. He called it a gift from the bunny. Okay, what is this supposed to mean? Check the glossary. Treat from the bunny. The uneaten part of a business lunch or a treat specifically bought for children. Parents would tell their children that a bunny asked them to deliver said treat, but it could also be any other animal, a squirrel or a bear, for example. Okay. So it's... okay. Uneaten part of a business lunch or a treat specifically bought for children. Okay, so it's either like cool lunch leftovers from a lunch, were a treat specifically bought for a child, and the parents refer to it as a treat from the bunny. Whatever the bunny is. It could also not. It also doesn't have to be a bunny. Just some forest creature. The stray strolled toward me with mincing footsteps, with a pleading look in its eyes. I love this dog. It almost looks like a cat. Like some elements of it kind of look a little cat-like. Like the body frame kind of looks like a cat. The fox did definitely treat it to something, but it was probably still hungry. Why are you dressed like this so early in the morning? Going to a costume party? The girl shrugged, throwing silvery snowflakes off her nose. And her human form along with them. What? Excuse me? Turning into a genuine beast? Pardon? A real fox? Agile, cunning, dangerous? Excuse me? What? A moment of hesitation and you'll be ripped to shreds. She'll tear you up and gulp you down without breaking a sweat. I couldn't help but just stand there as a stump. Why is she suddenly in fox mode now? Until I heard her calm melodic laughter hidden underneath the beastly mask. Okay, we are way too easily fooled here. We are way too easily fooled. Good lord. I wish you could have seen your own mask, sweetie. Sweet. Did she say sweetie? How old is this kid? I got embarrassed, went right up to my hair roots. We'd seen a fox in a zoo once when we went there with Dad, but it had patchy fur and was gray and skinny. Probably wasn't taken care of very well, or it was just really old. But this girl was of fiery color and furry, just like in fairy tales and conventions. I was still rummaging through my backpack. My fingers, that were searching for the dog's treat, stumbled upon some soft, crumpled object. What is it? You'll see. The real beasts will wake up soon. You should ask them where they got their human faces. That does sound like a great game to play. That does sound like a fantastic question to just ask someone. The girl's shadow was dancing in the lamp's light. Not the limelight, that's a different thing. The dog yapped in agreement. I'm glad we're on the same page. I freaked out and dropped my finding in the snow without getting a proper chance to examine it. Shoot. Cold wind instantly covered the hole it created with snow. Fantastic. The dog rushed to dig it out, wanting to get its treat. And the fox just snorted. Now I was so embarrassed I wanted to sink through the snow. It was still dark outside of the electric circle. On the contrary, the darkness seemed even more thick. All neighboring houses were sleeping deeply in its inkiness. I did my best to continue the conversation with the weird girl I didn't know. So, are you going to school? Oh my, you are a real dummy. Didn't you get it? Well, I was trying to be friendly, but she can't stop mocking me. Calling me a dummy and all. I should have just moved along without paying any attention to this weirdo and her stupid dog. Hey, don't you dare say a word about that dog. That is a good dog. That dog hasn't done anything wrong. We can be mad at the girl. She seems a bit weird, a little off-putting, but you can't say nothing about that dog. The dog is doing everything right. Why are you so mean? Don't answer if you don't want to. It's not like I care. You very clearly care, Anton. You very clearly care. Still, something froze me in place, tugged me toward the dark figure. Okay. A mysterious appearance, her voice that was velvety and just languid enough. Is this... How old is this guy? I was intrigued and excited. I watched her as people watch fires burn. You're attracted to her. You've got a crush on this girl. I think is what this is. I don't want to read too much into it, but I feel like that's what this is. Oh, stop pouting. Look here. Zulka took a liking to you. The dog's name is Zulka? Zulka? I'm gonna assume that that's how that's pronounced. The dog was digging through snow with sharp movements, snoring loudly. The fox turned around and looked at the windows of a nearby house, at its timbered front through the white mist. The tip of her fake nose was shining under the lamp's light. And maybe someone else, too. I went red again, like a boiled crayfish this time. What is this kid getting at? What's the game she's playing? Is she talking about herself or someone else? I hoped that the semi-dork would be able to hide my embarrassment from the girl. I cleared my throat before asking. And he's that person. I waited, counting my heartbeat. The fox did not reply. Her sly stare was scanning the frosty patterns of someone's windows. Okay, why are you watching that? She was reading them like a glass book. I wonder what she can see in those winter paintings. Oh, the stray stopped rummaging through the snow. Oh yeah, it was the myth that I thought was all bloody and whatnot. It ran to me, holding my object in her jaws. Oh, a mitten. Oh, thank you. Oh, such a good girl. Could it be the one I found in the forest? What is it doing here? When I looked closer, I realized that it was just my mitten. Maybe Mom stuffed it in there when I was asleep? A certain missing boy immediately came to mind. The missing boy that the cop was talking about in the first episode. That's what they're talking about. Hey, do you know anything about Vova? I imagined the scene, silhouettes dancing in the clearing. Yeah, those ones. The dance on the night when Vova had disappeared. A boy who, when found, can provide a big reward and maybe save my family. I feel like we might have too many eggs in this basket, but I'm gonna let it happen for now. I remembered my birthday when our parents promised to take me and Olya to Disneyland in Paris. But instead of a long-anticipated gift, they gave me a simple brick game console, visibly embarrassed. I was crying my eyes out back then, demanding to take me to the promised amusement park. That was the first time when Mom and Dad had a big fight. My greediness shattered their relationship. It was not your fault, dude. This was not your fault. Like, I guess I understand why it would seem as though it might be your fault, but it's not your fault, dude. Not your fault. Not one bit. If only I could fix everything. Gather everybody I love and take them to Disneyland. I mean, you can do that regardless. Regardless of whether it'll fix anything or not. That seems like a nice thing to do. On the night Vova had disappeared, I think I saw someone looking like you dancing under my window. It couldn't be true, but I felt like her mask became even more sly. Hey. The fox was sniffing me out. Weird, considering this is a human child just sniffing me up. Oh, that got you worried? For yourself or for someone else? Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. As soon as I thought about my sister, my chest tightened, and cold sweat streamed down my spine. Wait, who are we saying, Olya? Well, then listen closely, a boy named Anton. This is a big and scary forest. The fox girl stepped forward menacingly. Okay, this is all her game. This is just her way of expressing herself, is by being vaguely intimidating and a little bit ominous and a little bit menacing. And I'm not its only tenant. The other beasts already know about you. Beware, we'll come again tonight. I shouldn't have talked to this evil in child form, I thought, panicking. When you and your parents will be fast asleep, we'll sneak really close and dance. Margarita! Okay, yeah, it's all a bit. It's a bit. She's going for a bit. Hey, Macarena. Okay. Alright, that's good. Good stuff. Look at you. Your mouth is agape, Antosha. He saw me near his window at night. Yeah, right. Are you by any chance a dimwit? No, I'm just gullible and have a very active imagination. Nobody would let me go outside that late. Children go missing here, you know? I touched the plastic frame of my glasses, puzzled by her silly joke. She got me scared to death. I mean, yeah, if someone were to just surprise me with the Macarena, I'd be a little startled myself. Hey, why don't you stop fondling your glasses? That's not a word I want to use for it. I'm fixing my glasses. Thank you very much. I was also nearsighted once. Listen to me, and maybe you'll become smarter. Remember what they call foxes? Cunning? My words seemed to hurt her. Why is that a bad thing? Hey, what did you... I'm sorry. Her laughter was akin to the jingle of a pair of silver bells. Okay, I feel like there's some attraction going on here. At least from Anton to the girl. Hard to tell from the girl's side. Just pulling your leg. Of course we're cunning. If you're agile and brave enough to befriend a cunning fox, I'll help you look for your vova. There's a reason why you're doing it, right? I shrugged in reply. Her insight was alarming. I know why children have been swarming our forest recently. Sometimes you can find a lot of interesting stuff there. One day, I saw a huge pile of candy once, and I swam in it until my jaws cramped. A pile of candy? I couldn't deduce whether she believed in what she was saying from the tone of her voice. I showed her another smile, a fake one this time. Boo, so wary. Well, what will you say to this then? Oh, Fox Girl has candy. She held out her hand in a furry mitten. There was an assortment of sweets in her palm. In the city where I used to live, sweets like these were sold at markets or in kiosks. I know what a kiosk is. I don't need to look that up in the glossary. I saw my favorite bubblegum in a vivid wrapper among the tasty treasure. A familiar name was on it, Turbo. A triangular fox face poked her nose toward me. Take some. My pockets are full of these. Yeah, sure, I'll take some gum. Yeah, thank you. I accepted the treat and catching a whiff of the girl's smell. Fur, fireworks, and citrus. The smell of holidays. 'Tis the gosh dang season around here. My fingers tingled while I was carefully unwrapping the gum. I mean, it's probably a bad idea to take candy from strangers. That's kind of like one of the, main things that you don't do. There's a lot of things that you shouldn't do in relation to a stranger. Near the top of the list is taking candy from them. But here we are. Peachy aroma entered my nostrils, and something else, something unfamiliar but pleasant. The fruity cube ended up in my mouth. I started moving my molars, chewing the gum. You know, it's possible to be too descriptive sometimes. It tasted like your usual Turkish gum, only my tongue went a bit numb. I couldn't believe my luck after opening the insert. Ooh, it's a Mercedes-Benz 500 SL. Very nice. Very nice. I looked at a Mercedes-Benz, an extremely rare and hence desirable collector's item for any boy from my previous neighborhood. My heart skipped a beat. I was barely able to tear my eyes off the insert, still stunned. This is... Now, do you see what can be found in the forest? Still, I wouldn't go there alone if I were you. You get so flustered over simple bubblegum after all. Imagine what would happen if you find a travel case worth these. It'll surely blow your mind. Unusual treats, just like everything else about her. I carefully hid the insert in my bag, as if I was putting a rare butterfly in a can. The fox giggled. And that is where we're gonna leave it for this YouTube video. If you're watching live or on the pod, I'm gonna keep on going, but I'm gonna take this moment and do a quick outro. So yeah, if you are watching live, thank you for being here. I hope you're enjoying this. I'm enjoying reading it. I love this story. And the art is beautiful as well. If you are watching and you haven't followed and you want to do that, I would love it if you did. If you have followed and you haven't subscribed, that would also be awesome if you did that. If you are watching on YouTube, you can like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, head over to Twitch and do stuff there if you want. But in any case, I will see you later.